So, what's it like to cross the Picos De Europa with an 8 metre long, 3 metre high motorhome? We did it in mid-March. In this video, we hope to show you what the roads are like and some of the amazing places you can stop on the way. We will be concentrating on the N621 route from Parnes to Riaño with a free stopover in Potes, as this is the most scenic section. Just as you leave Parnes, there is a car park with a service area. What 3 words? Cater Hills Rafted. We were going to stop there overnight, but changed our minds due to nearby dogs howling, so we went on to Potes after using the free services. The section between Parnes and Potes made Margot too worried to film, so we grabbed some stills. However, it is passable with extra care. This section of the N621 follows the river gorge, which is extremely picturesque and dramatic. However, the road is more narrow and the rocks overhang the carriageway in places. During our journey, as we approached a rocky outcrop, we met a Land Rover coming towards us. I moved over a little to miss the outcrop, but he kept his line and our wing mirrors clipped, breaking my indicator lens. So let that be a word of warning that the locals do not always pull to the right for you. In hindsight, I should have stopped and waited for him to pass, but if you take it slow, you will be alright. Since we were there, the road has been widened, so it may not be as bad. The camping area at Potes is an unofficial area, but the police patrol it and do not bother those who are not sitting on chairs, etc. It is just some spare ground directly behind the Lupa supermarket. It is not level and it is compacted grit sand. What 3 words? Strategic, nice marking. Potes is a very lively town on weekends and is reminiscent of alpine ski resorts, so be prepared for noise from revellers. There are also cats who fight under the motorhomes. This in turn sets the dogs off barking, and that then starts the wolves howling. If you do decide to stay here, take some earplugs. We took a walk around the town on a Sunday morning and thought it was very peaceful and charming. We left Potes at around 11 o'clock in the morning to start the 55-kilometre, 35-mile trip to Riaño. Google Maps said it would take us an hour and a quarter. In truth, it took us about 3 hours, with some stops along the way to sightsee and grab some lunch. The actual driving time was probably around 2 hours. The roads at the start of the journey were very good, smooth and sound with sweeping bends and a few short straights. However, the roads started to get steeper and then started to twist and turn up the mountain sides. Don't get me wrong, the bends were not too demanding and the road was wide enough that you could afford to take in the stunning views as you drove. But as we climbed higher, the road surfaces became very rough due to the ice they have there in the winter. There were plenty of places to stop along the journey for you to take a break and wonder at the rich tapestry of colour laid out before you by Mother Nature. Higher and higher you climb, feeling the air getting thinner but fresher to breathe in. We were now getting level with the snow line and we were loving the journey immensely. Remember, if you are travelling over mountains in Spain during the winter months between November and March, it is mandatory to carry snow chains or have winter tyres fitted. Failure to do so could result in fines of up to €200. Eventually you reach the highest point on the route at 1,609 metres, Puerto de San Glorio. Here you can stop and take in the view. The snow was still around when we were there on the 20th of March. You could stay here overnight if you liked, but only if you are under 3.5 ton. This was one of the high points of the whole trip. Pardon the pun. After stopping for 20 minutes, we continued on our travels, descending gently at first, with the road still extremely rough due to the constant freezing and thawing. The contents of our drawers and cupboards were rattling around to the point where we thought everything might spill out. As each new bend approached, we anticipated the beautiful scenery we would see next as we rounded the corner. We came to another gorge, but it was nowhere near as bad as the one between Parnes and Potes. It was a pleasure to follow the road as it undulated along the path of the gorge. There were tunnels in places, and at one point we were shocked as motorbikes passed by in the tunnel, filling our ears with a cacophony of engine noise echoing in the small space. I am sure we weren't the only ones with a rush of adrenaline. Those bikers must have had the time of their lives motoring along the pass with the wind in their faces. We were within our lane, even though the camera angle says different. As touring roads go, this must be one of the most thrilling. At the bottom of the gorge, we arrived at a small village called Portilla de la Riaño, where we pulled over for a spot of lunch, right next to the chapel. It was a lovely little spot in the valley, so tranquil and peaceful. Margot made a sandwich for our lunch, which we enjoyed while listening to the distant sound of cattle and their bells. It truly was an idyllic spot for lunch. 20 kilometres further on, we reached our stopover in Riaño. What 3 words? Choker riches confirming. It is free and water is available from the football stadium, but there are no other services. We took a walk along the waterside pathway next to the Aire, which had notice boards explaining the town's history before the reservoir. The old community was flooded by the reservoir in 1987, and the present town was built to replace the villages of Anciles, Salio, Huelde, Escaro, La Puerta, Pedrosa del Rey, and part of the village of Buron and Vegacernia. Idyllic, fairy tale, magical describe the little town of Riaño, where you can take boat rides and enjoy canoeing, paddleboarding, hiking and climbing. The town itself has very few shops, but it has many bars and restaurants for you to enjoy local food and hospitality. If you think this looks amazing, I can assure you the video really does not do it justice. It is such a special place. The church of San Martin was moved stone by stone from the buried Pedrosa del Rey, and in the square of Chimadavila, a granary, a horseshoe rack and a shepherd's hut are some of the old artefacts that were saved. The largest swing in Spain was also installed here not long ago, an 8-metre high swing that swings over a dreamlike landscape. We only stayed for one night in Riaño, but we wish we had stayed for longer. It's spellbinding. Go for it.
I've only got short legs.
So if you are thinking about doing the Picos, just do it. As long as you take it easy, you will be rewarded for your endeavours. Our next destination was Lyon. Click our logo to subscribe to our channel to see what we found, as we travel the Via de la Plata, the silver route, to Seville. Thank you for watching, and we hope to see you soon.